Hi everyone and welcome back. I'm really glad you're here today. Whether you're tuning in on your commute at home or just looking for a story that speaks to something deep inside, thank you for being here. Today I want to share something personal. Painful, yes, but also honest. Because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't the ones we see in movies or read in novels. They're the ones that happen quietly behind closed doors, unfolding piece by piece until you realize your life isn't what you thought it was. My name is James. And if there's one sentence that can flip your world upside down, it's this: I'm not happy. Now, if you've ever heard someone you love say that, you already know. It's like hearing a glass shatter in the next room. You're frozen for a moment, unsure of what broke, but you know it can't be undone. And when my wife said those words to me, she didn't mean we needed to talk or take a vacation or fix a few things. She meant she was already gone. Not physically, not yet, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Gone. And that moment didn't come out of nowhere, even though it felt like it did. It came after years of silence, subtle shifts, and the slow unraveling of a marriage I believed was built to last. So let me take you back to how it all began, and how I ended up standing alone in a house that once felt like home, holding divorce papers I never thought I'd see. I met Brenda in college. She had this easy laugh, the kind that made you feel like you were in on some secret. We clicked fast. One of those rare connections where conversation flows effortlessly. We'd stay up talking until 3 or 4 in the morning, even when we had class the next day. We talked about life, family, dreams. About what we wanted out of love. Back then it all felt real. And looking back now, I still think it was, at least for me. Before graduation we made it official. I asked her to be my girlfriend, and when she said yes, it felt like I had just won something that couldn't be taken from me. Life moved fast after that. I landed an entry-level job in corporate banking. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a foot in the door, and I was determined to climb. I wanted to give us a life we'd be proud of. A life with stability, a home, maybe a family. Brenda supported me through those long hours, those late nights. She was there when the paycheck barely covered rent. We lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment with mismatched furniture from family and thrift shops. The floor squeaked, the plumbing was questionable, but we laughed through it. We were building something. Together. Eventually the promotions came. Pay raises, business trips, better suits. I was becoming the man I promised her I'd be. And with that came the down payment on our first home. I still remember Brenda crying in the driveway the day we moved in. Not from sadness but joy. I remember thinking, this is it. This is what making it feels like. At one point I asked her about work, if she wanted to find a job or stay home. She told me she wanted time for herself. For painting, photography, travel. Things she never had time for before. And I supported that without hesitation. My salary could handle it, and honestly, seeing her happy was enough for me. I never kept score. I never made her feel like she owed me anything. I loved her. Fully and without condition. Even on the worst days, when my job drained every ounce of energy I had, I still made time for her. Whether it was dinner at the table or just sitting together in silence, I always tried to show up. Not perfectly, but consistently. Our marriage wasn't flawless. No relationship is. But we had a rule: talk things out. Don't let small problems grow roots. And for a while it worked. We were okay. Then came the hardest season, trying to start a family. Brenda got pregnant a few times, and each time we let ourselves believe it would finally happen. But each time we lost the baby. Miscarriages. Quiet, cruel, unexplained. They broke something in us. At first she wept in my arms. Then she stopped crying altogether. And eventually, we just stopped trying. It left a silence between us. Not from anger but grief. The kind of grief that doesn't scream, but instead lingers in the air like a fog you can't shake. Still I held on to the future. I pictured us growing old, traveling, finally having the time we'd always postponed. That dream, that was my fuel. That's what got me through the exhaustion and the emptiness. But then one evening everything changed. Came home early, unannounced. The house was quiet. Brenda was asleep on the couch. And next to her was her journal. Now let me be clear. I never violated her privacy before. I always believed in trust, in boundaries. But that day something drew me to it. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was fear. I sat down and read the last few pages. And what I found broke me. She had written, asterisk, who am I without James? Asterisk. And right underneath, asterisk, is this really the life I want to live? Asterisk. My heart stopped. Those weren't just passing thoughts. Those were declarations. Those were the words of someone already halfway out the door. I didn't confront her. Couldn't. I just set the journal back and sat in that silence, watching her sleep, wondering how long she'd been gone without ever leaving. From that moment on, I couldn't unsee it. I couldn't unfeel it. Every glance, every touch, every laugh that didn't quite reach her eyes. I noticed everything. Questioned everything. Still I tried. I pulled back from work, made her breakfast, brought home little surprises, tried to revive the laughter. And for a time I thought it might be working. Until it didn't. She started withdrawing again. But this time my efforts seemed to annoy her. As if I was intruding. As if loving her had become a burden. Then one rainy Thursday evening, soaked from a brutal downpour, hoping for warmth, I came home to find her sitting with a folder in her lap. And she said it. Asterisk, James, I'm not happy. Asterisk. That sentence changed everything. But it wasn't the words themselves. It was what followed. The calm way she explained that she needed to find herself. That she'd never really lived her own life. That she'd gone from being her father's daughter to being my wife. And somewhere in between, lost who she was. She said it wasn't my fault. And then she handed me divorce papers. Already signed and dated. That's where the story really begins.